Hi, I'm Jo, and I'm going to take you through your personal video feedback. Congratulations on completing the testing, as that is the hardest part of the process. This feedback is going to bring all of the information together to help you understand how it relates to you and your life. This feedback and your written reports will give you information about yourself that can help you make important decisions for your future. Why this process is important is because it's designed to make you more self-aware. Self-awareness is the foundation to finding happiness and satisfaction in almost everything you do. With this information, you will know whether a choice is right for you or not. One of my favorite quotes is by Mark Twain. The two most important days of your life are the day you were born and the day you find out why. Self-awareness is the start of finding your why. You are a student in school learning about a lot of different things. We want you to become a student of yourself and a student of your opportunities. From a practical perspective, this is help and guidance to decide what subjects to choose, what university courses to choose, and what career paths to follow. The natural ability process involves more than just testing your abilities. It involves looking at you as a whole person and considers multiple factors when making important decisions. We use this decision wheel to assist you in asking the right questions to get the right answers. It starts with your abilities. Abilities are genetic, passed on from parents or grandparents, or developed through experiences up to the age of 14. After 14, our research finds that the brain structure is mainly set, and these abilities will be set for the rest of a person's life. Using a natural ability is like breathing. You don't really need to think about it. It just happens. In this testing, there was no study required. You naturally could do the exercises or not. People who use their natural abilities in work find that they are more productive, use less energy, and are able to master new skills much quicker. They sometimes find that something they have the natural ability to do is not really work because it comes so easily or naturally. Skills, on the other hand, are what we learn. We have learnt skills from our parents, our teachers and coaches. We can learn the skill to do anything we want. However, it takes a lot of practice and effort to master a skill, and we have to keep using the skill or we will lose it. Also, you will need to learn skills to support your abilities. You may have the natural ability to be a surgeon. However, if you do not acquire the skills by going to medical school, it is unlikely you will become a surgeon. The next important factor is your interests. Interest is what makes life fun, enjoyable, and engaging. If you are doing work in a field that you are interested in, it will hold your attention and you will look forward to doing it. An interest can be a sport or a hobby. However, it may also be an activity like researching, learning new information, solving problems, being in nature, or making things. Next is your personal style. We tested this and will spend a lot of time in this feedback in this very important area. Personal style relates to the environment or space where you work or study, how you relate to people, how you communicate, as well as what roles in work will be most suitable for you. This is a very critical piece of the puzzle. The next thing to consider is your family of origin. This is where we may receive our earliest ideas of what has value or what is important. However, it may not be in our best interest. It may be in the interest of the system. System examples are family, school, church, company, or teams. Our parents may want us to become a doctor because that seems like a respected and well-paid career. However, our abilities may point to a completely different career path. Or our school wants us to take high-level science and maths because we are smart, but our interest and abilities may point to a more creative and artistic pathway. Being aware of system limitations is important to finding your own path. The final piece to consider is values. Values are so important because they give what we do meaning and purpose. If you feel that what you are doing has value to you, you will be motivated to work hard, push through the tough times, and put your heart and soul into what you do. Values can be helping people, saving the environment, providing for your family, freedom to do your own thing, seeing the world, serving your God or your church. Understanding your one or two core values can dramatically keep you engaged in your work. Working against your values can make you miserable. If, for example, your strongest value is helping people, you may choose to be a doctor, a nurse, a human rights lawyer, a counsellor, a social worker, or even an entrepreneur working on projects and services to help people. No matter what job you are doing, as long as the activities relate to helping people in some way, you will find meaning in your work. The opposite is also true. Your value may be saving the environment, but you work for an oil company that is a known polluter. You may like your actual job, but the fact that your company values do not support saving the environment, you will soon become angry and disinterested in your work. It will seem meaningless. Values are the why you do what you do. Knowing these key factors will give you the information you need to make most decisions. We'll come back to this wheel at the end and you will see how these things fit together. Okay, now let's get into your personal feedback. You will need your score sheet to follow along with these descriptions. And do not worry about the high and low scores, both are good. Finally, the scores are not a percentage of right and wrong. They are a percentile of everyone in the world who has taken the same exercise. If you scored 80% on a particular exercise, you are in the 80th percentile in that ability. This means you have more ability to excel in activities using that ability than 80% of the population. The first section we will look at is your personal style. We will describe each section and how they blend together to form your unique personal style. You can stop this feedback at any time if you want to take notes or go back over a section you did not understand, or just let the whole feedback flow through and follow up in the written report, which has a lot more detail. Let's go. We like to call the specialist the expert. The reason is people with specialist's nature usually develop an interest in one area. This interest gets deeper and deeper as they want to know more, and it is this attention and focus that will lead them to know more about that subject than most others. Specialists are usually passionate about their area of interest. In fact, the ability to do what they like to do is more important than the paycheck. Living their passion is the paycheck. This passion can sometimes be interpreted as intense. Specialists like to control their own work and do not like others influencing or judging their work unless it is someone who knows more about their area of expertise than they do. If someone who knows less than them about a subject is critical, like a teacher, they can become angry and may be shut down completely in a class, despite being gifted in that area. A specialist sees the world through their own unique filter, and because of this, they are often considered out-of-the-box thinkers, able to see solutions that no one else sees. As a specialist, you are most likely interested more in your own goals and views than those of a team or group. You will want to contribute to a group with your expertise, but not really want to work with the group. The most important thing for a specialist is to find your area of interest and passion. This is often the key to your happiness and success. School can be a bit frustrating for a specialist, as you may have to take subjects you are not interested in or feel like you have to conform by wearing a uniform. The generalist nature of a school can be challenging for a specialist who does not feel like they fit in. The specialist may want to choose a very specialised field of study so they can immerse themselves into the detail as soon as possible. When we describe an introvert or an extrovert, a lot of times people get confused with this. They think that the extrovert is the class clown and the introvert is the hermit who sits in the corner. In our program, we don't see it that way. We actually see introversion and extroversion as where a person gets their energy from or where they get energized or re-energized. Your scores indicate you have a preference for extroversion. Typically, an extrovert gets energized by being around others or interacting with others. Extroverts tend to process their thoughts by talking things out, because that is how they often will solve problems. Extroverts will often speak first, think second, whereas an introvert will often think first and then speak second. This can sometimes get them into trouble. Extroverts are usually comfortable meeting and interacting with new people, especially in a casual setting. This differs greatly from strong introverts who may find it physically uncomfortable to meet or talk to people they do not know, and will prefer to communicate in writing, like an email or text, versus speaking face-to-face. Extroverts do not mind interacting in an unstructured environment, whereas an introvert will want a purpose or structured reason to communicate with others. An extrovert may enjoy all of the people interaction at school and even make plans to connect with friends after school. However, all of the people activity at school will drain an introvert, and when they get home, they will probably just want to go to their room, read a book, go online, and need a lot of time to recharge their batteries. Because extroverts like to solve problems by talking, it is easy for 2 or more extroverts to dominate a group discussion. It is very important to be aware of and sensitive to introverts who may be in your group. They may not say much, but they may have the answer or solution you are seeking. Monitor your talking time, pause, and invite the introverts to contribute or add to the discussion. Understanding the opposite of yourself will make you a much better leader, team member, and person. Extroverts will probably be comfortable and may enjoy being in an upfront role, where they are greeting, presenting to, or interacting with people. Extroverts should seek a work environment which allows them to interact with people in their day-to-day work. It is actually the blend of these 2 elements working together that really identifies your preferred personal style. This personal style preference relates to the best environment for you to work and study, how you communicate and like to be communicated with, the types of work roles you will feel most comfortable in, and in some way impact almost every area of your life. Now let's look at your unique blend. The blend of a specialist and extrovert is what we call the performer. These can seem to be conflicting as the specialists like to do their own thing, but the extrovert likes to be with people. How this works is the specialist wants to be the expert and specialize in their thing. However, the extroversion nature compels them to want to share their knowledge or expertise with others. Think about a maths teacher or language teacher who is focused on their specialized area of learning, yet they love sharing their passion with others, in this case students. There are musicians who just like to make music, and there are those that really want to share their music with their fans. They would have a performer profile. It could also be a consultant who comes into a company as the expert and tells the leadership or staff what they need to do, or a specialist salesperson who is informing people about their product. The key in the performer profile is that the person likes sharing their interest and passion, but the delivery is usually one-directional. They want to share, but not really interested in the opinions coming back. They do not want discussion or debate. They want to put their knowledge out there to be consumed in one way or another. This sharing can be in books, podcasts, speaking, performing on stage or in film, training or presenting. In every case, they are the expert in the lead, sharing the knowledge. The last part of your personal style is your time frame. This relates to how far out in the future you can project the consequences of your actions and activities, and also how long you will persevere at a task before you will lose interest or give up. With an intermediate time frame, you operate best in a 1-year to a maximum 5-year time range. You sit between the strategic planning of the long-range thinkers and the action of the intermediate tactical thinkers. In this role, you can take the strategic plan and break it down into the parts to send to the action teams who will get the job done. It is very much a coordinating mindset and developing the action plan, but not executing it. Building and maintaining relationships is an important aspect of a person with intermediate time frame. You enjoy having clients, suppliers, artists, or other work connections who you deal with on a regular basis, and you will value that aspect of your work. The next section we will look at are your driving abilities. They are called driving abilities because if they are strong enough, they will force you to use them. If channeled in the right path, they can be very powerful and useful. If they do not have an outlet, they can become problematic. The outlet can be your work or in a hobby. Driving abilities can point to the type of work and work activities that will be most suitable for you. The first driving ability we will look at is classification. The exercise for classification involved looking at the strip of images and trying to figure out which 3 or 4 images had something in common. This is what classifying is. The ability sees seemingly unrelated things and quickly makes sense of why they belong together. For example, a whale, a human, and a kangaroo look completely different, but they are all classified as mammals. With high classification, you are able to quickly see these relationships and can move through the screens quite quickly. This highlights that you have a very quick mind. You can scan a situation or be presented with random information and quickly realize what is going on or what it means. Classification is a powerful problem-solving ability. In fact, people with high classification often see problems all around them. They are usually the first to identify what a problem is in a situation. When using your classification ability, you are being diagnosing the problems. You may find you get bored easily as you understand new information quickly and don't like having to wait for others to catch up. Because of this, you may find that you like and need a fast pace and lots of challenges and problems to solve. In work, you really do not need a lot of structure to follow. You are more likely to be the one who creates structure. An example of this could be your desire to open a restaurant. Buying into a franchise would mean the structure is already in place and the franchisee is expected to follow it. You may prefer to create your restaurant's concept from scratch, set your own menu, design how you want it to look, find the property to locate it, and develop the systems for your staff to follow. The rush and excitement of going through those challenges will be stimulating. Running the restaurant on a day-to-day basis may eventually bore you. If you find yourself having to work within a structure, there is a good chance you will see the problems in the existing structure and try to change them. This is great if you are hard to do this, but you may become unpopular if you are not. People with high classification can be impatient, may be seen as judgmental, and may jump to conclusions. You will need to develop the compensating skill of patience and acceptance and resist the need to be right all of the time. Next, we will look at concept organization. In the concept organization exercise, you are asked to arrange the random words on the top of the page into a logical order. This is designed to measure your ability to arrange or organize facts or data into a logical sequence and to make sense of the information. With a mid-range score in concept organization, you have the logical abilities to analyze and organize facts and data, but also the ability to be decisive. People with high concept organization are very analytical and detailed. However, they find it hard to make decisions and can suffer from paralysis by analysis. You may find this ability to be helpful in organizing your schoolwork, managing rosters and processes at work, and assisting you in your written and spoken communication, which is critical in most careers. However, you may not want to have analysis or planning as a major part of your career. Now we are going to look at your problem-solving style. It is how the combination of these two abilities work together which points to how you naturally approach problem-solving. This ability blend will have a significant influence on almost everything you do. With high scores in classification and lower scores in concept organization, you have a diagnostic problem-solving style. Your natural response to almost every situation is to diagnose, look for the problem, find fault, see what's wrong. It could be said that you have a critic's eye, where you quickly can identify the good and bad parts of a movie or a meal at a restaurant. Diagnostic problem solvers work best in environments where there are lots of problems to be solved. An example could be a diagnostic civil engineer, where your role is to travel the country, checking bridges for potential problems. You will quickly be able to scan the bridge and see erosion around the foundations, rust on the steel, missing bolts and spots of concrete cancer. You will note your observations, make some recommendations, and send a report back to the head office, and move on to the next bridge. You like to find the problems and make suggestions, but not too interested in actively being part of the solutions. You would prefer for someone else to do the day-to-day work. Diagnostic problem solvers can make good entrepreneurs. They can see the problems, come up with the possible solutions, plan business systems and structures, and work with specialists to refine the systems for commercial use. The incredible challenges of doing something that has not been done before, making quick and critical decisions, will be exciting and stimulating. Once the business is up and running, it may not be as exciting. In school, especially exams, you need to be careful because you may quickly scan a question and instantly think you know the answer, but you may miss the detail in the question and get the answer wrong, when you really did know the answer. Slow down and read the question twice, so you do not jump to conclusions. You will thrive above others in challenging, unstructured, and fast-paced environments. When you are presented with a task, you put your head down and power through it. You get things done. This comes with a challenge, as you may find that you lose sight of the emotions of the people you work with and can sometimes hurt feelings in the quest to complete the task. You may want to avoid people management roles, as you may find you are too critical of your staff. If not managed, you can come across as a know-it-all and be seen as someone who is critical, complains a lot, or is always right. This is great if you're in an advisor role and people are paying you for your advice, but not in day-to-day life. You will need to develop skills to manage this, or you may push people away. Now, let's take a look at your idea productivity. This was the exercise where we asked you to write a story based on waking up and everyone being 15 feet tall. What we are measuring is the flow of connecting ideas that come into your mind. With mid to high scores, your level of idea productivity would indicate that you have a steady flow of ideas that pop into your head. If very high, these thoughts can become distracting as you try to concentrate on one thing at a time. You may find your mind just drifts to other connecting thoughts. As a student, this can be challenging. When you are asked to write 200 words about a subject, you just keep getting new ideas, and before you know it, you have written 2,000 words. In timed exams, this can cause problems. If this happens to you, it will help to use an outline and force yourself to only write the 200 words. This may include having a test box that only holds 200 words. When it is full, you move on. Idea productivity helps a person think quickly on their feet. This can be very useful as a teacher, to explain things in different ways, or as a salesperson who can think of other benefits when the client says they aren't interested. You will enjoy brainstorming and being in more free-flowing environments. You may find you are easily distracted when trying to focus on things. The final driving abilities we will look at are your spatial abilities. These are often linked to science, maths, and technology. However, they have a wide range of applications. First, we will look at spatial theory. This was the exercise with the paper folding and the hole. People who score high in spatial theory have a natural understanding of how things are connected, interrelated, and can impact each other. They understand the principle of cause and effect and prefer facts, natural laws, and scientific rules to underpin decisions versus a feeling or unproven idea. They are usually driven to know the why. People who score low in spatial theory are more connected with the non-scientific world of feelings, emotions, ideas, and are much less driven to want to know why something happened versus just responding with how they feel. Being in the mid-range, you have a bit of both. You will understand the technical world, but also have a connection with the more humanistic impacts and applications. With this nature, you may find you have an interest in technology, but find more of a connection with how technology is used by people versus being involved in working with technology on a day-to-day basis. The final driving ability is spatial visualization. This was the test that involved manipulation of the blocks. This is the ability to think and solve problems in 3 dimensions and relates to the need for tangible, physical applications and results. With a lower score in this ability, it points to you having a more humanistic view of the world and likely to be drawn to using people and ideas to solve problems versus things. You may not find an interest or need to make things, put things together, or take things apart, where someone who scored high in this ability will always want to use their hands and be interested in building and making things. You are almost always going to feel more comfortable and connected to the humanistic and non-tangible world of people, emotions, ideas, words, concepts, and dreams, like counseling, psychology, law, business, and marketing. The next section we will discuss are the specialized abilities. Unlike driving abilities, these are often helpers or enhancers that can support the driving abilities or help point to a more specific area to focus on. In this section are your learning channels and also some special ability drivers that may point to musical aptitudes, creative and artistic aptitudes, as well as language or visual aptitudes. Only the areas relevant to you and your profile will be discussed in this section, so don't worry if we don't go over each one. Design memory is the ability to remember visual information. In this exercise, you had the ability to see the lines and patterns in your mind, even after they were taken away, and could create them again from the stored picture in your mind. With this ability, you are able to remember and recall content like pictures, graphs, diagrams, schematics, flowcharts, charts, blueprints, maps, and videos. This is also a powerful learning channel. Any material that is in a graphical or pictorial format, you will find that your brain will remember and retain the information for use later on. Converting notes into slides or color coding sections using highlighters and color pens, even using shapes like boxes and circles to separate the sections and connecting them with lines to make it look like a picture or drawing. You may also find you learn more by watching videos versus reading books. Not only will you be able to remember this content, you will enjoy working with it. Design memory can enhance your ability in fields like engineering, point to a designing element of a technical field like industrial design or prototype design, or indicate a stronger trade preference, like being an electrician. Also, creative fields like graphic design, photography, video editing, architecture, or computer game design may be of interest. Anytime you are working with visual information, you will feel connected to the work. Verbal memory is the ability to remember what you read. When the two lists of words were presented to you and then we took one half of the list away, you had the ability to hold that list in your brain and recall it later when asked. You can remember letter characters presented in any language. Verbal memory is the number one scholastic ability, because from an early age we are asked to remember what we read. So students with strong verbal memory were able to advance quicker and easier than students with low verbal memory. Verbal memory is a very powerful learning channel. The best way to use this ability is to read, write notes, and then read the notes. That cycle will help you retain the information you are trying to learn. Take notes in class and rewrite your notes while studying. Verbal memory can assist in many careers like law, history, journalism, academic writing, research writing, blog writing, or editorial work. Any career or academic pursuit that involves a lot of reading and writing will be assisted by this ability and learning channel. Tonal memory is remembering what you hear or auditory learning. With a strong core in tonal memory, you have the ability to remember what is said in a conversation, a class lecture, or from a podcast or radio program. Tonal memory is a powerful learning channel. You learn through listening. In the exercise, you are able to listen to the tonal sequences, remember them, and identify them when played back. As a tonal learner, anytime you can convert information you need to learn into an audio file and play it back, you will have a much higher retention of that information. This may include recording your notes out loud on your phone and playing them back several times. Even reading your notes out loud will help you remember the information. You may find listening to audiobooks is better than reading a book, especially if you are low in verbal memory. We have seen students go from 15% comprehension to 85% comprehension overnight by converting their content into audio files. It is very powerful. Tonal memory can be an enhancer in a lot of careers. It is critical for counsellors and psychologists, as listening is a major part of their job. Sound and audio engineers, speech therapists, translators, and people in the musical industries will benefit from having strong tonal memory. As tonal memory is one of the musical abilities, you may enjoy listening to quiet background music while you study. Students with high rhythm memory are kinesthetic learners or learners through movement. Also, people with high rhythm memory need movement as part of their daily routine. Sitting still for long periods of time can be challenging and actually tire you out. In fact, movement activates the brain. Ways to use your rhythm memory while studying is to write notes. The act of writing connects the physical body to the word. Taking a walk while listening to recorded notes or an audiobook. You may find listening to music while studying helps. A famous magician could not read at age 12. However, once he discovered magic, he found combining the hand movements while learning the trick, combined with the words to describe the trick, allowed him to recognize words and learn to read. Work roles that use rhythm memory are most trades, field research, personal trainer or coach, photographer, landscaping, retail and outside sales. Sitting at a desk all day can be draining. Learning to use your dominant learning channels will certainly improve your capacity to learn. However, learning to combine your top 2 learning channels can greatly enhance your ability to learn. An example of this would be a person with high tonal memory and high rhythm memory. If they recorded the information they needed to learn on their smartphone and then took a walk while listening to the notes, their comprehension will increase significantly. All combining verbal memory with design memory. They could write out their notes, draw shapes around the key facts they need to remember, colour the shapes in with highlighters, and connect the shapes with lines. In this example, they converted their written notes into a picture. Combining number memory and tonal memory could include writing a numbers list of facts, reading out loud the numbers and facts, recording it, and listening back to the recordings. There are countless ways to combine the learning channels. There are so many more personalised learning strategies in the written report. Make sure you look over the 4 key dimensions in the written report. The final score we will look at is vocabulary. Vocabulary, unlike the rest of the exercises, is a skill, meaning with practice you can increase your score. For students, a score of 5% to 20% is normal. A score above 35% is high for a student. Vocabulary naturally builds the more widely a person reads and the more variety of words they are exposed to in their life. So as you study more or work in broader fields, your vocabulary may increase. What a broad vocabulary can do for you is give you the range of words to express yourself, your ideas and thoughts in speaking and in writing. A wider vocabulary can also help you understand a lot more about what is going on around you. Vocabulary is one of the easiest skills to learn. Just learning a new word every day for a year with a simple phone app or screensaver can put you in the top 20% in vocabulary. Some of the specialised abilities, when combined, can form patterns that may point to career profiles or work roles worth exploring. The combination of mid to high verbal memory and tonal memory points to your ability to learn to write and speak a foreign language, especially tonal-based European languages. Now, that concludes your personal feedback. We have gone through the areas that are important to you and I hope you have come away with a better understanding of your abilities and personal style. For more in-depth detail, read and study the written reports. There are great tips and strategies as well as more detailed descriptions. I told you in the introduction we would look at the whole person decision wheel again at the end. I want to show you how you can use this to make future decisions. Okay, looking at the ability section, study your problem-solving blend and spatial blend. Here will be the indicators of what roles, activities and career areas to begin to look into. Next, look at your personal style blend, what roles are most natural for you. Use this information to better understand your strengths and weaknesses. For example, you may have a people-connected personal style. You work well with people and teams, be an experiential problem solver, patient, non-judgmental. You work well in systems and your spatial blend may be an implementer, which means you are more humanistic and solve problems through people. This may point to being a manager. Next, what are your interests? Let's say it's surfing. What roles within the surf industry have managers? Manage a surf shop, manage a surf team, manage a surf camp, manage a professional surfer, be a manager for a surf magazine or surf video company, manage a surfing tour company. You will be operating in a role that is your perfect fit, working with people and in an industry that you are really interested in. Same could be said for a person who has a technical spatial blend, who also has musical abilities, has a personal style of preference of working behind the scenes, and is interested and loves musical theatre. They may be a staging sound engineer. They are doing work that suits their abilities. They are in the right work environment and absolutely love being around people with similar interests. Next, you need to think about your values within these roles. Your value may be family and being around family. However, 1 or 2 of the jobs requires working interstate or overseas for a period of time. This will be inconsistent with your values, so you can make the decision that it is not right for you. Many people will have similar work profiles. However, when you blend in your personal interest and values, your direction becomes very unique and sets you apart from others. Develop a simple habit of asking yourself 6 questions. Number 1, does it fit my personal style? Number 2, is it the pace of work or type of work consistent with my problem-solving style? Number 3, is the work or role consistent with my spatial blend of working with people or things? Number 4, Am I willing to commit to getting the skills, i.e. education or training, to do this work well? Number 5. Is this work that I am interested in, will enjoy learning more about and being around people with similar interest? Number 6. Is this work or company consistent with my values? If helping people is your value, is your work or role helping people? Going through this simple process can help you focus on opportunities that are right for you. Using your strengths and putting you in an environment where you can thrive are very important pieces of the puzzle. However, regardless of your natural abilities, you will still need to work hard, have a good attitude, and put a lot of energy into becoming the best version of yourself. A very important tool in your career exploration report is a list of work roles that have been matched for you based on the unique combination of your abilities. You will have a selection of work roles that have been selected for you. A work role is not a job or occupation, it is what you do. A work role can apply to lots of different jobs across lots of different industries. Each work role has a list of occupations that you can explore to help you see where your abilities fit into the working world. The benefit of this section is you most likely only know about 5% of the jobs that are out there. With this exploration report, you can explore a wide range of occupations you may have never heard about or thought about. Every one of the occupations in the list are hyperlinked to a careers database where you can get more detail about that career. This is where you can become a student of your opportunities. Wow, I know that was a lot of information. However, this is an investment in you and your future, so it is worth the time to study it even more. Please take this seriously. We have clients who come back after 3 or 5 years and tell us how happy they are and are amazed that things worked out how we described them. Trust the process. It works. Use the resources we provide you. Think about the things like your interests and values. Reflect on experiences that were good and bad and see if they fall into some of the things we described. Finally, here are some important links you might be interested in. Number 1. If you feel some of the scores are not correct or if you had some technical problems or were distracted, we can reset any exercises for you to take again. Simply click on the test reset link and let us know the problems. Number 2. If you have any questions about the process, we can give you a quick response via email. Simply click on the I have a question link. Number 3. Finally, if you would really like to take this to the next level and have a follow-up session with one of our specialist ability counselors, click on the follow-up feedback link and you will be taken to a page with more information. Thank you so much for your time and attention, and we wish you great success in your future.